Hey, everybody. I'm Mark. I'm running for the U.S. Congress in the Texas 13th District. And right now, I'm in the Denton Square with two great musicians. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, my name is Hector de Leon. I'm a Tejano jazz guitar player from Corpus Christi, Texas. And yeah,
You have just two mics.
My name is Kingston Hollingshed. I'm from the Dallas, Texas area, and I go to UNT. I'm a jazz drummer.
So let's talk about music and what you guys want to do in the world.
mm,
What you're playing music out here, you're busking, getting some tips. What is really what you want to do in the world after you graduate? Getting out of
mm,
school. What's your vision?
mm. I guess for me is to inspire other people who look like Kingston and I
Yeah.
to show them they can do whatever it is they choose to be. You know,
Yeah.
that they can be whatever they want to be in their life because this is America and we
Hmm.
can do that here.
Great
So,
answer. But really, you're focusing on how to be what you want to be through music.
yes.
So, what drives you about your music that you like?
Well, it's really the Tejano music
Yeah.
that I've been coming back to after all this jazz schooling, which in reality I had been kind of running away from my identity because I was just kind of embarrassed, I guess, to say that this music that is of my people is what I listen to, you know? But it's on coming back to it that I'm seeing the intricacies, the beauty, and then learning the history about the Tejano people. And it's, I found a newfound purpose in that. So,
That's great.
thank
I
you.
love that part of the story about coming back to where you've come from, where your family's from, and then exposing a lot of other people who don't have that to what is your passion.
Mm.
Kingston, let me switch this. What about you? You're
Yeah.
still a student,
Mhm,
jazz drumming,
mhm.
awesome. So, what do you think about just your exploration of music and where do you want to go with it?
I think I'm a lot similar to Hector
Yeah.
in the sense of, I definitely want to be a good role model for my community and be able to kind of, I guess, inspire and mentor people in my community and, teach them through this music, because I think that this music has such a rich history, kind of like Hector was saying. And I think it's so beautiful because it's such a global thing and so many people can connect with it regardless of what culture you're from, whether you're black, you're Latino, Asian, Indian, like it's all there. And for me as a believer, as somebody who's of the faith, I think that through this music, I think this is one of the best ways to just share the love of Christ with people, because I think we're in a time and era where people need that love. And so for me, after I graduate, I just want to try to play as much as possible in the area, and you know, hopefully someday I can go out to New York or California and really kind of get out there in the music scene and spread
Yeah.
my philosophy.
Yeah. So, I've had some experience in the music business.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm really, really heartened and it's refreshing to hear such passion about the music
Hmm.
because sometimes the business is the business, not about
Hmm.
what the music is.
Hmm.
So let me ask you guys real quick about your future. And I know that we see AI, for example, as threats to the creative process. What's your take on that?
On AI?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I can go first. Um, for me, I think AI is like a tool. I think that it could be used in a good way or in a bad way, similar to a pen or a pencil. You could either use it to write something lovely and beautiful to somebody, or you can, use it to destroy somebody. And I think AI is very similar. I think it's very good to use it as maybe a stepping stone to create something that might not have been possible. But I think using it to replace the entire music process, and when you got people out here trying to use it as like a cheat code to, like, oh well, this is really hard, so let me do this to kind of cheat the whole process.
yeah,
That's where I kind of have an issue.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Hector, what do you think?
I love AI. I'm gonna be real, but in art, can I curse?
Sure.
Fuck no.
Yeah.
In art, fuck no, because art is inherently a human experience, and I think we need to keep it that way. You know, a friend of mine told me, he said, there's going to come a time where young kids will see AI art as literal trash, and they will take a picture of a trash can as art over the AI art. And so that's how I feel with that. You know, it should be separated entirely from the art industry. Same with Spotify using AI artists. That's not right at all. And also TikTok doing its own thing with AI. That's another thing we can get into. But it's a wonderful research tool. Wonderful. As far as learning history, learning how to formulate arguments, how to talk about your points, and just better articulate yourself, I believe, is really where it strengthens and evens the playing field between, well, they say there's an intelligence war right now, and I think that AI evens that playing field for a lot of people. So,
I really like what you're saying on this. I think that the definition of art should be a human made creation. It's human creation. From music to writing to acting to visual arts. We have to redefine it. So computational power, which is AI, is just a predictability engine, isn't its derivative. It can't make new, it can't make this today.
yes.
So what you guys are doing out here, I think is fantastic. Live music on the street, really affecting people, giving them some joy in their lives, hoping you get a couple of bucks in the can.
Exactly. Practicing either way.
That's great. That's great. But I am concerned what our focus on technology will be to your futures.
Mm.
And that will diminish the work you're doing because you just don't sit down and take up the guitar or the drums. You've practiced and practiced and practiced.
Yeah.
And you said it right, the cheat code. It's a cheat to get to an end result fast, but the end is empty.
Mm.
So what you guys are really building is what humanity is.
Mm.
And I think if we focus on that, the future is pretty bright. If we lose that focus, not the best. So this is why I really wanted to talk with you guys this morning about where you fit, where you think you fit in that world, what technology does. From a politics perspective, I think we have to really start figuring out what these things mean. And by that I mean the right kind of regulation, the right kind of things to put in place to protect what your future will be.
Mm.
Because what you're facing is an onslaught of slop.
Yes.
And it's all about people's attentions.
Yes.
So
And the layman doesn't exactly care about where the music comes from, and that's a sad reality. Maybe we can change that.
I think that's right, Hector. Yeah, I think that's right. I think most people they don't know.
Mm.
Not
That's a better
knowing
way to say it. Yes.
is they think this is a great piece, not understanding it's stolen from all these other artists. But once they understand, and back to taking the picture of the garbage can, they understand that there is emptiness in that. Saying, I don't want a piece of it. We're seeing this happen with younger generations now. Older generations are in love with it
Mm.
because of the cheat code. Suddenly, I can be an artist. I can do this.
Yeah.
So
I think it's an interesting topic when we get into the idea of recycling music, right? I think that recycling music is not inherently bad if it's done through the right process. You know what I'm saying? So, for example, the music that we're playing right now, like all the things you are, we didn't write that.
yeah,
You know, we're just putting our own spin on it, right? But we're paying homage, to the artists that came before us. Or, for example, like hip hop, most of hip hop is sampled, from old jazz records as
yeah,
well. It's recycled for the purpose of connecting with a broader audience while still paying homage. But however, like you're saying, it's a cheat code thing. And when you don't pay respect and when you try to pass it off as your own thing, that is a problem. And I think that where we're going right now, I mean, I think that regulations and stuff would be great to an extent, but I think the problem lies is we're going really far right now, and I can't see a future where we can completely, get rid of it. I know that Robert Glasper. I don't know if you've heard what he said about it. He kind of is at the stance of like, hey, it's here, and I think that the best possible outcome right now is to create a clear distinction of, hey, this is real music and this is AI music. And if people are going to be out here trying to win awards for this stuff, just make an AI category so that way it's its own thing and it doesn't infringe on
People know.
exactly.
People know.
Yeah.
Can I say something? So on that same vein, I consider myself an anthropologist in some ways. I love human trends and human history, And where I'm going with this is throughout history and throughout any time there's new technology being introduced to the world, there's always massive resistance to the technology. Like I can't remember when ATMs became a thing. If I'm not mistaken, people thought the bank teller was going to be obsolete. We still have a bank teller, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and it's like kind of like what Robert Glasper is saying, man. It's like, it's here, man. And the powers that be are going to be using it, so we need to start using it too.
Well, let's take a minute to talk about the powers that be.
Okay.
Because the powers that be are the people at the very top that own the systems.
Yeah.
So the money, we'll just talk in terms of economics, the money flows up, people use the tools, and then we give our attention for those tools or a monthly fee. And we scrape by, but there isn't an equitable amount back to the creators that all this is based on. These are important
Can you
things.
say that again, sorry?
The creators,
Mm-hmm.
the artists, the writers, the musicians, all of the AI, I say AI, buddy quotes. AI is derivative from those works. AI isn't making new stuff. It's predicting what is the next best possible option after this. So, uh, 4-4B, right? Okay, predictable. We can make another thing. A computer can do. That's been the case for a long time. The computers do it. But when you start getting into some interesting work, that's not a predictable thing. So that is the creative endeavor of humans. People will say, and they'll say it to me now, computers can take over the creative endeavor, but that's the definition of humanity. Let's not cede the argument to that. We need to hold it to ourselves. So I'm mostly concerned about where you go in the world, because if we don't understand this, people will say, oh, they're playing piped AI music and they don't need you to be in the street. And then you think my passion is gone, and I guess I'll just take this job. This is my fear.
So on that, like, there's the human experience, like you and I right now, me looking into your eyes,
Yeah.
me saying, "Hey, Mark," like
Yeah.
those are the kinds of things that maybe an AI may be able to do that one day with a robot. I know that's coming, but you're gonna be looking at a robot in the head and being like, "This dude just said my name. What the heck?"
Well, that's right.
And but where I'm going with that is, like, for example, earlier when we were playing and some people passed by, and I just say, "Hey, how's it going? How you guys doing?" You know, that's the human. That's the human. You know, you're not going to hear. I mean, you probably will hear some, "Hey, how are you doing?" As you're listening to the music, but it's like it doesn't feel genuine. You know.
Hector, it's taken me a while to understand over a series of years that the only point of what we do, everything we do, is for other people.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yes.
It's easy to say. It's hard to really recognize the depth of what that is. And it's simple to say, I'm at home, I just watch a movie. But that movie was made for you by other people. Things we do are for other people, mostly service, and make people feel happy or joy in the world. Running for Congress is a thing for other people. A lot of people run for Congress for other motivations, especially money. We could talk about money in politics all day long. It's ridiculous. But true motivation is to serve other people. That's why I wanted to talk with you guys today. Because what is the future for you and what gives you the best joy and the best life and really building your wealth over time. That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, so it's funny, I because I talked to my dad and my sister, and we're Tejanos, man, and we've seen the systematic oppression and erasure of our people, and so it's very very hard for us to trust politicians sometimes. And
Do
I'm
I
saying that
ever?
with all due respect.
No. Yeah. I don't.
So going back where I'm
Yeah.
going with that is the worst thing that I could imagine is you know being like, yeah, let's get the minority vote, guys. You know what I'm saying? Let's
No.
get the minority vote. And but it's like it's a genuine concern. Because a lot of the times in history shows that we can shake hands, say thank you, sir, thank you for doing this. Thank you, sir. We'll give you our vote, sir. And then as soon as the person gets into office, oh, I'm in power now, guys. Whatever. And
Yeah, we see it a lot,
yeah, if you
again
do,
and again and
unfortunately, we
again.
do. Yes.
So when you run for office, de facto, right? You're a politician. That's just the definition. Uh, then we expect people who are politicians to then become leaders overnight. You win, suddenly you're something else. But really, they've been this caricature that appeases everybody in the campaign trail to get here, and then they're supposed to lead with some wisdom. I approach it kind of differently. The reason that we're talking is really not to get votes from a population. It's really because selfishly I love jazz and I want to talk to you guys.
That's what I like.
And I love music, so I wanted to talk to you guys. And I'm very concerned about the future of art and humanity. It's not about I'll sit down with these two cool guys and I'll get some extra votes. Maybe I should think that way, but I don't. I really think if we just talk people live in this district so everyone else can understand because this district is big. It goes all the way to the top of the panhandle. And have you guys been up there in that part of the state, the panhandle?
Like going to Colorado.
Yeah, right, right. So I live in Amarillo. A lot of people just drive on through. People in Amarillo have the same stories that people in Denton have. But people in Denton don't think there's a relationship. And people in Amarillo don't think we're related to people in Denton, but we are. That's why I want to tell these stories.
What would you say is like the similarities between the two?
Everybody, people who are your age, they want to know, they're nervous about their future. Where are we going in the world? What are we going to face next year? We're facing some terrible stuff. We're in a war. The economy is really not the best. The stock market, super great.
$100 to fill up my car.
There you go. And gas is just an indicator of the bigger and deeper problems. But at the same time, the people who are at the corporate level taking the reason stocks are so high is we can talk a long day about how stocks work in companies and buybacks. But it's not supporting what you guys are trying to do. So people have that concern. Younger people, older people, they are concerned for younger people. This is consistent. As much as we talk about everyone's in it for themselves, everyone is selfish, I don't see it. I see instead people are concerned about what's happening with the next generation and the next generation. We're just not having these deeper conversations. So you got it, man. People win, they get to office. Okay, I won. I'm done with you. That's right. I just don't operate that way. So maybe I'm not a politician today. I'm just a dude who likes music, and I'm very very interested in when you when I do win, what can I do to help you? Because the government, and believe it or not, government exists just like when I said earlier, where we do one thing, which is help people. The government exists to do that very thing. That's it. We've been fed this story over years that the government is a bad thing. The government is us. That's it.
Interesting.
And it exists from the very founding of the country. It exists to bring people together to do what is right for them. That's it.
Sounds a lot like music.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the government would be a cacophonous symphony of music. A lot of
Atonal free jazz.
yeah, right, right. Now you're gonna turn a lot of people off. So, um, but working properly, yes, working properly. It's people moving together, hmm and it's improper because of the very thing you guys are trying to do today. You're busking for money. People in Congress are busking for money all day long too, except the money is big and they don't care. They just want to take what they can. So I want to get rid of all that. Stop the big money. Your voice is in. And what I am passionate about is how we build a pathway for you guys next time. Because after this conversation, both of you would say, you know what, I'm going to try to run for city council or for whatever. Super. Be part of this process. It shouldn't be as ugly and difficult and nasty as it is. And it's going to get bad because the people don't want to give up the power they have.
Power corrupts, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolute power.
Speaking to, I guess, how you can support us as artists, I will say that in the past few years, and I think COVID has a little something to do with it as everything kind of shut down.
Yeah.
I think it's just getting back to supporting live artists,
Yeah.
in environments like this, and creating more opportunities, for artists to get on a platform and be able to showcase themselves in the community, because I think that kind of what you're saying about humanity is, I think that not enough in our society do we prioritize the arts. That's one of the things that makes us humans.
Yes.
It's something that kind of connects us all together. We all come from different backgrounds. You come from where you come from, I come from where I come from, but the common thing is music. Like whether it be the same music or it be something different, we always have that music in common. And I think just seeing people out in public performing music is something that is so important.
So I guess the message today at the end here is go support your local musicians. Go hang out. Just give them some love. Support your local bookstores. Support your local theaters. Support the people that are pouring their hearts back to make humanity what it really should be.
On the topic of like music being everything, like if you look at ancient Greece, you know, arts were a part of their core curriculum, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe AI fed me some slop, but they believed that the arts were just as important as math and science and reading. Why, you may ask the question. I think because art allows us to express our emotions in a way where words can't. And that is why I started playing my guitar. I struggled very badly, intensely, better word, with mental health. And I found that playing my guitar is the closest I can find to expressing how I feel. And that's not to sound cliche. I know it
No,
sounds
Hector,
cliche,
that sounds
but
really, that's an amazing story because what it has given you and now what you're giving back because of it. That I think is the path of humanity.
yeah. And like yesterday, for example, I was busking over there in front of Free Play and I met this girl. She was a veteran, disabled in a wheelchair. And she was telling me how she used to sing all the time. And I was like, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, like, fuck yeah. Like, yeah. And then she said COVID hit and she couldn't sing anymore. The places that she was singing at told her we can't do this anymore, et cetera, et cetera. And man, like just talking to her and really feeling, I consider myself an empath and I can feel, I truly feel like I feel people's emotions intensely. And I could just feel her sadness from talking about how COVID kind of ripped away this part
Yeah.
of expression that she had. And I was telling her, it just starts at home, That's really where it starts. If you want to get back into it, it starts at home. It doesn't start out on the street, I mean, you could, but it starts at home, in the shower, washing your hands, singing that, na, na, So,
Well, as a writer, so that's what my side of the story, and someone who likes doing card tricks and magic tricks. Practicing card tricks in the shower doesn't work.
Show me some of
Oh, I'm always ready to do card tricks.
those. Let's go.
But guys, thank you. I know that it's a busy day for you. You're out here spending time with me. I really appreciate it. Let's play us out.
All right.
All right.
What do you want to play?
Let's play another boost.
All right. Let's play SKJ, West Montgomery. West Montgomery Milk Jackson, I think. Kingston and I, as well with another bass player friend of mine named Anthony Castellari, We have a gig every Sunday in Casa de Monte Cristo in Oakland, the neighborhood. Shout out, and every Sunday at 5 in Oakland. And I don't know about for Kingston, but it pays my rent, so I'm sure it does a lot for Kingston as well. So, but please come out. Diverse crowd, beautiful people there, great cocktails, great cigar collections, and yeah, hope to have a regular gig in Denton soon. So that's all I had to say, and thank you guys.